How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is wrapping up its double discount sale as well as its PlayStation Indies sale. Both sales should be running until the end of tomorrow, so you'll want to jump on any deals that you want to pick up as soon as possible. I would imagine that some major sales will be rolling in this week just because Sony and the PlayStation Store took a rare off week as far as rolling in new sales, so I would just imagine that they're cycling this stuff out. Historically speaking, the summer sale has always been at the end of July or early August, but they also pushed up days of play to early June this year, so who knows, maybe the summer sale is coming up because, again, it's pretty rare for Sony to take an off week in rolling in new deals, but we'll see what happens. Got some final deals to go over. These are across a plethora of different price ranges. The only video we did was under $10, so you can check that out, but let's highlight some of the deals that are available, mostly not mentioning stuff on Plus Extra, but let's start off with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which is down to $15.59, and this game is actually on Plus Extra, but the PlayStation 5 version is not on PlayStation Plus Extra, so that's how I get away with mentioning this. Really good action RPG. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm not like the biggest Dragon Ball fan in the world, but obviously, much like most people my age, I grew up watching it, and I have fond memories of it. The game itself is really good. A decent recreation of Dragon Ball. There's some jarring moments that are cut out, to say the least, but for the most part, it hits all the high notes of Dragon Ball as a whole. But for $15.59, if you want the PS5 version of this game, I think it's a decent pickup. Next up, we have Monster Hunter Rise, 50% off for $19.99. Great deal on Monster Hunter Rise. I'm not the biggest Monster Hunter fan either, but if you want a game that is a bit of a grind and you can sink a lot of time into, Monster Hunter is always going to give you a quality experience as far as that's concerned. With Monster Hunter Rise and World wrapping up, like, the majority of their content updates, you would have to think that a new major Monster Hunter release will be happening here in the near future, but we'll see how that turns out. Rise for $19.99 if you want a game that's time sync. This will definitely be it, and it's a good game at that, so definitely check that out. Next up, speaking of time sinks and high-quality games, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, $5.39 on this. Now, this is a fantastic game. Obviously, it shows its age a little bit at this point, especially when it came out on the PS3, had its technical limitations. That's mostly, relieved of on the PlayStation 4. It's a great action RPG, challenging as well. Obviously, Dragon's Dogma 2 is in development, so that's incredibly exciting, but for now, Dragon's Dogma 1 is still a decent playthrough. Just expect a highly challenging action RPG here. Next up, we have Resident Evil Village, which is 50% off for $19.99. Now, this isn't the gold edition, this is the standard copy of the game, but still very much worth it. Resident Evil Village was one of my favorite games of 2021. I thought it was excellent. Resident Evil as a whole is just firing on all cylinders right now, and RE Village is no different. Obviously, play Biohazard first, which is also on sale, but after you do that, this one for $20, a solid pickup there. Bayonetta and Vanquish 10th Anniversary Bundle is down to $11.99. Great deal here. Bayonetta is excellent. Unfortunately, we don't have Bayonetta 2 or 3 on PlayStation, but what can you do? I believe Nintendo published those games. And then Vanquish is fantastic as well. Vanquish doesn't get enough love, but take Platinum Games already doing over-the-top action titles and turn it up to like 11 or 12, and that's what you get with Vanquish. Just one of the wildest games I've ever played. The story is absolutely nonsensical, but the action gameplay is chef's kiss, so definitely for $12, two high-quality action titles here, easy to recommend those. Next up, want to give a shout out to Red Faction Guerrilla Re-Mastered. This is $5.99. Pretty solid open-world action title. Now, this is an early open-world game. Like, you compare it to the open-world games of today, it doesn't hold a candle to some of them, but it's still a fun time, especially with its destructibility. $5.99, I think, is a good price. Bear in mind, again, this game initially came out back in 2009, I think June of 2009, so it's been quite a while, but still a decent time with that game. Darksiders Warmastered Edition is $3.99. Darksiders is an interesting game. It had a lot of cool gameplay mechanics. The setting is really cool. Has elements of like a God of War, a Zelda. That's the comparison people always make with Darksiders. It's a pretty apt comparison. It's just that those games are just elite in what they do. Darksiders isn't elite, but it's a damn good game, and I think for $3.99, it's a pretty good pickup. Let's give a shout out to Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. Those are on sale separately, so they used to be on Plus Premium. Now, if you want to play them, you either get the Redux Collection or you buy them separately. $4 a pop is kind of pricey, given the Redux Collection has been $4.50, but, it's not a bad price by any stretch of the imagination. They're really good, atmospheric first-person titles. $4 is still a decent deal, just bear in mind, the collection does go on sale for a great price usually. Batman Return to Arkham, another collection here, $3.99 on this. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, the game's respective downloadable content. I imagine most of you have played Batman Arkham, at least on like the PS3 when it initially came out, Arkham Asylum and City, that is. Those two games are fantastic, and I played through Arkham Asylum, I want to say like a couple of years ago, and that game surprisingly still holds up really, really well. Like, the combat is great, the visual style is great, and, you know, from a sound direction standpoint, it's really strong. Like, they're just still really, really good games, and definitely worthwhile playthroughs. Even if you don't have a single care in the world for superheroes, look, I didn't care about superheroes at all when I played Arkham Asylum and Arkham City initially, but, you know, this was kind of like my first time, like, getting really into Batman, and Arkham is just a fantastic, fantastic franchise, and Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, in my opinion, are the two stronger games. You know, Arkham Knight is great as well, though. Hopefully, at some point, we get Arkham Origins on PlayStation 4 and 5, because while Arkham Origins is probably the weakest of the entire franchise, it's still a decent little game, and it would be nice to be able to play through that, you know, on modern platforms. Next up, we have Outlast, $1.99 on this. One of the most iconic horror games of all time. Again, most of you probably played it. If you didn't, $1.99 on this is a great pickup, and I would strongly recommend this as well. You know, if you're into horror games, psychological ones at that, it'll be a good time. Vanishing of Ethan Carter, 80% off for $3.99. This is very much light on any kind of action gameplay. It is all about taking in the scenery, the environments, and more of an atmospheric, narrative-based title. But for $3.99, a good game. A lot of mystery in the game as well, not super, super lengthy, but a solid pickup, all things considered, and I think for $3.99, it's a perfect price to pay. Like, 20 bucks, too expensive, but $3.99, great deal on that. Next up, Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition. I always go to bat for this game just because in the Metroidvania market, there is just an absurd amount of competition. Like, I feel like every other week we see like a Metroidvania come out that looks really good, but like, how many of them really resonate at a high level? Even if the games are really good, even if they have a unique style, it's very difficult to pop off in the Metroidvania market right now, and Guacamelee kind of faced that as well, even though it was a little bit of an older Metroidvania. Yeah, it came out back in 2014, but never resonated at like a higher level. It's a really, really charming game, cool visual style, wacky presentation. I just think this was a really solid and fun time. $3.74, really good buy on that. Guacamelee 2 is on sale as well, so you can check that out as well if you're interested. Next up, Limbo, 75% off at $2.49. One of the most iconic downloadable games of all time. Playdead initially released this game on the Xbox 360, I believe it was. Then it came to other platforms. I don't recall if it came to PS3. I think it did, but don't quote me on that. Limbo's just an incredibly atmospheric platforming puzzle game. Just a really, really well done game, and Playdead has a really meticulous style when it comes to their games, and it'll be really interesting to see what they do in the future, because they've been quiet for quite a while. Limbo came out in like 2010, Inside came out in like 2016, and we haven't heard much from them since Inside came out, but hopefully we'll get an update on what they're doing here soon. Limbo is available on Plus Premium, but $2.49 to have it completely in your library. That sounds like a good pickup to me. And then lastly, I do want to give a shout to Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun. Really well done tactics-based title, and a game that works fairly well with the DualShock controls as well. I love the setting of this game as well. I think if you're not big into tactics games, but you like the idea of this setting, I think you'll still end up enjoying the game. So give it a shout. You know, $40 would be a hefty investment to try the game out, but for $3.99, I think it'll be a game that a lot of you guys end up enjoying, even if you're not the biggest fan of tactics-based titles. And that's one of my genres that I'm not crazy about, but XCOM, Shadow Tactics, those are pretty solid games that I think anybody can end up enjoying. But that'll do it for me. Again, these two sales are wrapping up here shortly. Jump on them as soon as possible if you get the chance on any of these deals, but as I mentioned at the top, probably gonna have some big deals rolling here in soon with the off week last week. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.